I think journaling is an act of honesty, because we literally have to, sit with our thoughts. And sometimes that can be really uncomfortable, because there are moments in our life when we rather just not, look straight in the eye with ourself, our emotions. And so I think that journaling is a habit that is very courageous, and journaling is honesty. You don't really lie to yourself when you're talking in your head, right? Sometimes we do. Sometimes when we cannot accept the things that happened, and we create these, stories in our head to convince otherwise. But a lot of the times, this is from my experience, I think that journaling kind of like forced me to sit with my thoughts. And to do that, I need to be honest with myself to really understand what I am feeling, what is in my head. Because growing up, I didn't really have anyone to, talk about my feelings. I remember growing up, I was such a kind of like antisocial kind of person, because I thought too much about achievement in my early teenage years, and I prioritized that I didn't really think about anything else. Anyway, I realized that journaling, it gives us journaling gives me a kind of like a roadmap to my own mind, understanding my own mind. I started to notice patterns like jealousy or anger, or being afraid, and also the moments when I fell in love with somebody. And I probably didn't know it then when I just started this, because I mostly did journaling because I wanted to vent it out. But after a few years, I realized that, wait, journaling. I read back some of my entries, and it really intrigued me. That most of the time I get the hindsight of things that happened, and I learned to actually be kinder to myself when I practice journaling. Because as you get older and you look back at your younger self, sometimes I feel like I had so many things that I worry about that I laugh now, not because of mockery, but because she just didn't know that sort of things. And I'd return with another entries, or I sometimes write notes to myself, to the younger self, and so I reply to the past, and then that kind of creates kind of like chronological, kind of like your own documentary of yourself in your mind. And I think that's a very valuable thing that you can make for yourself, for your future self. When you look back someday, you can actually see that so for example, you can literally find the root cause of something just by looking back at your journals. I actually did this with something that happened in my life, and I read back my entries from a few months before that, or a year even, or the starting point of something. And it really helps me to see the pattern of things. So when I made decision about say relationship, I read back to my journal and try to trace the things that I wrote about a certain thing, and more often than not that helps with really understanding, for example, if you really want to be in that relationship, because sometimes we forget things. When you have journals, you write things about what happened that day, and then even if you forget years later or months later, you can go back to the day that the event happened, or even if you can't remember, you still can find it, I think. And then from there you can see from the version of yourself that wrote that things. And sometimes I write about reminder to myself, and I think that is a very important thing to have in your life. It's a very important thing to